Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. You can audible.
Yeah, thanks. So, as a part of our monthly activities, All India Railroads Association, uh, this webinar is also the part of our monthly activity. And I, Engineer Shrish Mishra, being the host of this monthly webinar, invites our President, Engineer S. F. Das, to welcome us all in this webinar. Engineer S. F. Das, sir.
I like to welcome our chief guest, who is also basically of our family. He is also engineer. And I like to welcome our speakers, Shukla sir, Kesavan sir, and Himanshu Gupta ji. Um, Actually, our timing was to start at 6 o'clock, but since Shukla sir has to come to Samadar, he has train timing at 6 o'clock. So we are starting today some 1.5 hours before. So we like to say sorry for that. But we cannot leave Shukla sir. So that's why we have to revise the schedule plan. So accordingly, we are after 1.5 years earlier than our scheduled programs. I would like to welcome all our some participants who have joined us. Today, this is of some special type of webinar we are conducting. Of course, we'll have mechanical, electrical, civil engineers. So today we'll discuss with three speakers, and the next webinar, the next June webinar, we'll complete all this. This will be a total complete project. We will discuss for the course choice. Since we have a lot of course choice, we are architects, engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, all branches. All the members are of different branches. So this will be a great helpful for all of us. So I'd like to welcome you all. There are some changes. Actually, we are supposed to introduce our chief guest. Since Shukla sir is going to be leaving to us before that, so I'll just hint one small introduction of him. Shukla sir is the director in said College of Engineering, Banaras. Detailed introduction will be given by our Pradeep Kumar, ex-HOD of HVTU, after he reported, because he is leaving. So this is a small introduction of him. He was the director in PSC Kanpur, and now he is the director in Banaras. So I like to all of the participants in this webinar. I am sure all of us will enjoy the programs. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Das sir. Now I request Institution of Engineers Kanpur Local Chapter Chairman Dr. Mukesh Kumar Singh to address us all.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me to address the gathering today on this August occasion. I'm very much thankful to the Aiva, the whole team of Aiva, who's organizing this event, which is very much important, and we can say this is a step ahead to organize a national seminar on food preservation, which is a very much needed topic in present situation. Being an agricultural based country, we require to establish number of cold storage and to enhance the food preservation chain in our India. So, Mr. Dasi invited all very renowned speakers to address this issue, and the topics which are selected by various speakers, they are very much related with the theme of the upcoming national seminar. I am very much thankful to the today's chief guest, Shukla sir, who has spent his valuable time uh, for this occasion. And I am very much thankful to the all three speakers. They have spent their valuable time, as well as they selected very much related topics for today's event. I am thankful to all participants on behalf of Mission of Engineers as well as Aiva. I would like to warm welcome everybody who are here and to whom they are going to join very soon for this event. Thank you very much for inviting me and to address today's gathering. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request our speaker, Dr. Ajit Ken Shukla, sir, Director, Sheet College of Engineering, Varanasi, to give us the lecture on refrigeration system with saving power. Dr. Ajit Ken Shukla, sir.
I'm not able to listen to you.
Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
So now, can you hear us?
Or I'll just rejoin again.
Sorry for the interruption. There will be some technical error from the Ajit sir. Right. So we have to wait for some time. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, sure, I can.
Yeah. So now I request Dr. Ajit Ken Shukla, sir, Director of Sheet College of Engineering, Varanasi, to provide us lecture on refrigeration system with saving power.
Thank you.
Dr. Ajit Shukla.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining and giving me this opportunity. I'm really glad that I'm among the very senior persons here, and really fortunate that my Guruji, Dr. Keshav Kant, invited me to be part of this session here. I'm basically a mechanical graduate and member of ISRO as well there, because this opportunity came to me as to enlighten you all in terms of cold storage and the energy saving. I've titled this thing in terms of cold storage energy saving strategies there. And though, let me, as a disclaimer, let me put this that though I have not directly worked on the cold storage, but because of my association with Dr. Mono Prashad, I was working in refrigeration air conditioning lab, and my PhD topic was on solar hybrid solar cooker there. So I have full close encounter with the refrigeration air system and everything. So take this as a basic point to understand that what I wanted to deliberate in today's meeting. The cold storage strategy in terms of energy saving, if we try to see, let us try to have that what kind of things we are having at present, and then we look into the various avenues through which we can have the cold storage capacity. So in general, you can say that the global cold storage market size is actually around, as in terms of US, if you say, it is around 427 billion to be by 2030. That means it is registering a growth from at present 2025 to 2030. If we say it is 18%. If we look from the Indian aspects, the Indian cold chain market is large and is also growing, because everywhere it is growing, so we cannot be far away. And it was valued in terms of rupees around 2,500, 2,052 billions in 2023,
and is projected to reach to around double of this, that is 5,596 millions by 2032, which is 11.8% of CAGR growth. So US it is around 18%, and we are also very large population, around 12% you can say. So you can say there is a huge capacity, and as you say the economy is growing, there is a huge potential for the cold storage too. And that brings a lot of opportunity in terms of saving, as well as saving in terms of the waste and other things as they are contributing to the economy. The market is driven by factors. Why this growth is there? It is because of the organized food retail chain and its increasing demand for perishable goods and the expansion of the pharmaceutical industry. So these are the two driving factors. One is the food demand in terms of perishable items, ready-to-eat items there, and the expansion of the pharmaceutical industry. And beside this, the growing automation, which you find that it is happening in case of warehouses, the growing popularity of e-commerce for purchasing fresh food has driven this market growth. The increasing uses of apps has enabled customers to order a meal as well as track its delivery on timely basis, make it very easy there. So this has all led to the growth of the cold storage and the storage capacity of warehouse capacity. The digital retailing has enabled consumer shops and access products and services anywhere they want. So this is in general, you can say the scenario, and there is a huge aspect in terms of growth of the cold storage market. The rising trend for purchasing perishable food online has led to new opportunities and challenges, including the need for an innovative solution to provide the critical service for the last mile delivery, automated warehouses to manage inventories and reduce per item cost and low cost and advanced temperature monitoring devices that would maintain the safety of fresh foods there. The growing popularity of online shopping, as we have already discussed, that has created a barrier to the growth of brick and mortar stores. So food and beverage stores have employed different business strategies to overcome this barrier, and which includes click and collect and home delivery option as we are experiencing everywhere. So we are not far. Based on the storage type, the market we can say is divided into facilities or services and the equipment segments. The wide availability and the increasing need for cold storage warehouse facility drive the facility and services segments growth. So these two segments are growing. Based on the temperature range, as you already may know, the market is divided into three segments. The first is your chilled, which is 0 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius. The frozen item, ready to eat kind of things there. So that is minus 18 degrees Celsius to minus 25 degrees Celsius. And the deep frozen, which is below minus 25 degrees Celsius. So changing consumer preference and growing consumption of ready-to-cook meals are expected to drive the frozen from minus 18 to 25 degrees Celsius segments growth. So this is the highest growth we were seeing that from minus 18 to minus 25 is offered. The key market players are looking to expand in their presence and increase the warehouse capacity to gain competitive edge. For instance, in December 2022, there are various warehouses which you find that they are increasing their capacity and nearly doubling their capacity. In terms of land area, we can say that they are busy building a huge warehouses which may be around 100 acres or so and adding to the cold storage capacity. The key market players are adopting different development strategies such as merger and acquisitions to expand their presence and the market share in the cold storage industry. In you can say around 2022 or so, the complete acquisition has taken care of many of the cold storage in India. If you see, that can be seen with respect to many financial acquisitions which is coming through various banks, and through that we can try to make one. The cold storage market reports and highlights, if we try to see, based on the storage type, the facility and service segments dominates the overall market, gaining a revenue share of around 90% in 2022. It is expected to grow by 17%, and the construction of Energy efficient cold storage warehouse is expected to provide significant opportunity for the growth market. The equipment segment is projected to grow at least around 20% over the forecast period for 24 to 30. The factors such as changing food preferences, changing lifestyles, and growing online food services are driving the demand for the frozen food globally in terms of temperature ranges, which we have already discussed. The rising consumption of frozen food is emerging market, and it has been seen that in India as well as in China, it is driving segments for the growth. The warehouses under these segments are used to store frozen foods, vegetables, fish, meat, seafoods, and other products. In terms of application, the pharmaceutical segment is projected to grow fastest from around 19% between 24 to 30. The pharmaceutical products must be preserved in a very specific temperature range to maintain high efficiency and adhere to the temperature regulations. Therefore, the demand for the cold storage and the equipment is rising in the pharmaceutical industry. Now, let us try to see that how we can optimize the refrigeration systems. Now, if you see, there are many options there. The first option, which is optimization in terms of refrigeration, it is the energy efficient refrigeration. So there is an investment taking place in modern refrigeration system with the variable drives and the digital controls to optimize the performance and reduce the energy use. If you see in terms of the total cost there, uh, the operation cost for the cold storage which will be around 30%, and the other 30% cost will come in terms of the manpower. So there is a huge potential in terms of the energy storage in terms of energy optimization. The second aspect is to store energy. It is in terms of energy storage, that is thermal energy storage. That this implementation stores the excess refrigeration capacity to reduce the reliance on the grid power during the peak hours. As you see, and most of you, I feel that you are in Kanpur, or Kanpur has now become a commissionary, and because of that, there are strict traffic regulations. And traffic regulations actually restrict so that the loading and unloading of the trucks take place during the night time only. Now, when it is taking in the night time, that means warehouse delivery, loading and unloading also takes in night time. Now, in a hidden way, this leads to an increase energy storage during the night, because the sensible heat during the day is being very high. When it is being done at night, it is cool there, so it does not put the additional burden on the thermal load on the cold plant. Similarly, if you have the energy storage system in the cold storage, so that because of the very heavy load on the cold storage, the small change of load or taking in of the load or out of the load from that does not change the temperature, and because of it, lot of stability comes into the system. Heat recovery system, this is another opportunity in terms of the optimization of refrigeration system, to find that capture of the waste heat from the refrigeration to improve the energy efficiency and reduce the cost. The next important energy saving which you find, it is in terms of the passive insulation or passive cooling which you have in terms of improvement in terms of insulation and building design. Now, high quality insulation, that means the use of material with a high R value. Now, there is lot of development has taken place in terms of insulations. So, high R values actually lead to reduction in the heat transfer and improve the thermal energy efficiencies. And this is to be taken as the first measure to say that the energy storage as a part of energy storage strategies there. The other aspect is the when loading and unloading, and this has to come with respect to the frequent audits and other things, as most of you may be working on that field. So that is looking in terms of sealing of the gaps. So this is a loss which will be taking all throughout when the cold storage is working, and that is very simple to do in terms of preventing air leakages by sealing gaps and ensuring the proper insulation. Optimal orientation, that the building design itself, that how it has been located, that also needs to be energy storage. That is design specifically with an optimal orientation and shading to reduce the solar heat again. If you find that the the cold storage, the maximum length has been exposed to this the south side. If this can be done the other way, then we find that the maximum amount of the thermal gain can be curtailed and restricted to the energy storage. Many of the things which may look very obvious, but it is very important for the valuers to see that when you, as an energy auditor or as a valuer, if you go, how you rate the particular cold storage plant will be depending upon this particular parameter. So the checklist can be prepared and it can be ensured that these aspects are meeting at a low, medium, or high level can be found. The other aspects which is helping in terms of strategy is the leverage of the smart technology. Now, IoT monitoring systems, implementation, real-time monitoring of temperature, humidity, and energy consumption to identify the inefficiencies, and this can lead to the saving in the energy. Automated control system, that means the adjustment of temperature settings, the airflow, and equipment operations to minimize the energy wastage can also lead to the energy saving. And the next is that data analytics, use of data analytics to optimize the cold storage operations and make data-driven decisions. Because depending upon the food items, we get into the metabolism rate of the things there. The location of these pallets would also decide that where the maximum losses are taking place or where the maximum heat gain is been taking place in terms of the metabolic rate can have more impact in terms of the data analytics we can have. And this with respect to good computing power. I think this is a great advantage in terms of opportunity in terms of having the energy storage. Implementing the sustainable practices like LED lighting, very simple. Replace traditional lightings with the LED fixtures to reduce the energy consumption and the heat generation. The old cold storage and new cold storage you find, and this gives you a huge opportunity in terms of the energy savings in the lighting system. So the lighting system you can have. The next may be there with respect to sustainable practices, renewable energy integration. Consider integrating a cold storage with the solar panel or a wind energy to supplement or power or to power your refrigeration system. This also leads to the energy storage, and you find that there is one startup has come which is called as I think Rouge or Urja is there, where you find that the small walk-in refrigerators has been now been working on per use basis there. So where we find that in the villages and other places, there are vegetable items out there, and there it can be used in terms of solar augmented walk-in refrigerators, and it enhances the shelf life of the food items, mainly the vegetables, and they can have more sustained revenue from that. The other thing which you can have is which you should not forget is the regular maintenance. Ensure refrigerant systems are well maintained and they are equipped to prevent the energy wastage, and the routine maintenance has been done. Optimizations and operations. Smart logistics, if you find that to reduce the door opening uh, and they minimize the external temperature to enhance the energy efficiency, and that can be integrated with the data analytics to see that how operation, as we discussed, that in terms of very simple thing in terms of like having a regulation which is an indirect benefit for Kanpur. If you see, or maybe many other cities where you find that the movement of trucks during day is not being permitted, it has led to the actually increase in the revenue for the cold storage because that operation is done. So smart logistic actually helps in increasing the work efficiency and the efficiency of the cold storage. And last and not least, employees training, for which we are all responsible, that educate staffs on the best practices for operating efficiencies and reducing the energy conservations. And last and not the least is the energy audits. Conduct regularly energy audits to identify what are the areas for the improvement. And this can be taken as an opportunity to say that whatever we have learned, it is to be practiced and then see that what are the opportunities are available from time to time so as to say that the post storage energy saving strategies can apply not only during making but during operation as well as taking all policies into account and say that it's renewable. So this is my small thoughts. I think it might have been useful if some of you have any questions or queries there. I'm here to give answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, if anyone have any query regarding refrigeration and energy conservation, they can ask. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I have to make a request to change my schedule because 6 o'clock I have to catch a train and I have to reach to Kanpur. So at present I am at Banaras. Most of you are invited to please come and visit Banaras. We are in the outskirts of Banaras towards airport. But please drop me a mail or message. I'll be very happy to offer my hospitality, whatever is available with us.
Sir, on behalf of All India Fellows Association, I like to thank you because you are giving a very good talk. And Kesav Khan sir had already is impressed to you. To be frank, when I was the
I cannot say no to sir. His words are
when he was the chairman, I had worked as the joint secretary of Institute of Engineers. So he loved you a lot. Since you had no time, you will not stay here. But your introduction will be given by Pradeep Kumar or ex-HOD of HBTU. That will be seen to you from my videos. We'll send you to videos, sir. Okay, thank you. Have a nice journey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So we will move ahead now in this webinar, and now I request All India Valuers Association's Vice President, Engineer M.K. Srivastava sir, to introduce us all with the chief guest of this webinar. Engineer M.K. Srivastava sir.
Thank you, Srish. I have been given the responsibility to share the resume of Sri Anjaneesh Pratap Singh, who is the chief guest of this webinar. Mr. A.P. Singh, born at Raebareli, Uttar Pradesh, his early education was at the Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Sanatan Dharm Inter College from Nawabganj, Kanpur. After completing his early education, he did his BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from PSJM University under AKTU, which was previously known as UPTU, UP Technical University. He is a very learned man. After completing engineering degree, he joined Oriental Bank of Commerce in April 2010 as probationary officer, and his first posting was at West Mumbai. He served there for more than half a year, 2.5 years, and from there he was posted to Kanpur at a Gurgaon branch. In 2011, he succeeded in SSC CGL and got All India rank 77, and he got Central Excise in Delhi. In 2015, he qualified UPPCS and joined in 2016. As on date, he is serving as Deputy Commissioner Industry, UP Government. It was the brief resume of our chief guest. Now I hand over to Mr. Shirish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for introducing us all with our chief guest. Now I request our chief guest, Shri Anjaneesh Pratap Singh, sir, Deputy Commissioner Industries, Government of Uttar Pradesh, to address us all in this monthly webinar.
Yeah, thank you for my introducing me, and thank you to all esteemed audience and the participants. And basically, I am new to the city, Kanpur. I have joined only 2 months back, and here, since this webinar is related to food preservation and saving energy and cost of consumption. So, unlike my expertise, basically, industry department is related to manufacturing and services, and we here mostly are involved in industries which are focusing on manufacturing. But if I'm not going to this particular topic, I'm not just focusing on this food preservation. I just want to enhance the general common sense related to my department, which can be fruitful and which can be of great utility to all of you. Here, we have many schemes running under the UP government, which are very kind of boon to the industries. And in these industries, even the food preservation and food producing industries, cold storages, they can also benefit. First of all, very recently, when 4 years back, a very good scheme was launched by the state government. It is a pledge park scheme. Under pledge park scheme, for example, you want a zone where all kinds of food products can be restored and produced, or they can be processed. So in that pledge park, there is a scheme run by the UP government in which 50 lakh rupees per acre subsidy is given for the development of that particular private industrial area. For that, minimum 10-acre land is required, and in that 10 acre, beyond 10 acre is most welcome, but 10 acre is the minimum criteria for the fish park. And if any person is having 10 acre land, private land, we handhold that land, that person, and we just try to guide all kinds of uh, facilities for road development, electricity development, and other kinds of NOCs, we just do it. So place park is a very beneficial scheme if any person is just trying to establish a food processing industry in a larger frame. But if you want to establish that industry individually, in that sense, uh, it's my request that first of all you do MOU, Invest UP, which is responsible for the investment in UP under the very qualitative leadership of Vijay Kiran Anand sir, right now who is CEO of Invest UP. It is focusing that the investors which are interested in investing UP, they have kind of very good experience, all kinds of the perception towards UP that here the facilities are quite delayed and the subsidies are not given in time. It should be changed. Believe me, on 28th of last month, in Indira Gandhi Pratishthan, Mukh Sachiv sir personally came there and he presented the vision of the CM sir that how industries and how the industrial scenario in UP is changing. He told the data that unlike Maharashtra, which has been leading for decades all over India in industry sector, we UP for the last 2 years in banking scenario, the ratio of the banks which are giving credit to the industries is has crossed the ratio of Maharashtra. It is quite commendable achievement for UP. In the same way, initially when 2017 the JVC groundbreaking ceremony was for Invest UP, groundbreaking ceremony was done. At that time, it was kind of uh, picture was like this that fake MOUs are being signed, or it is just a kind of data which is not going to be on the ground. But the the government is focused on making that thing on ground. So if you are, or if any person, or if you're any kind of relative or familiar one is trying to establish industry, for that industry, I should request that first of all do MOU with Invest UP. Invest UP will handhold everything. In Kanpur, there are nearly 80,000 crore investment MOUs signed. Out of that, 226 MOUs have been here, and all 226 MOUs Udemy MIT has been assigned from Ministry UP, and they are going to the ground. They are making shortlisting every industry that what is the problem, whether it's pollution industry or whether any kind of other industry. They are just writing down those things and they are just doing. So unlike before that, the industries has been harassed or industries have been kind of he has to run from office to office. The scene is changing. So here, in this sense, you can avail the facility from the UP government. And besides it, here we have a subsidy scheme also, but in this food processing scheme, a very small scheme, it's an unparalleled scheme here. Very small amount is being given by the bank, but this scheme is very good. So for food preservation, if the if the investment is not so much. I mean, a person who just wants to keep 4 freezers and he wants to sell peas by preserving. Sir, is it in our ambit? Sir, is it in our ambit that kind of peas and paneer or cheese or these things are preserved? Is it in our ambit?
So generally,
You are getting my point or not? Sure.
today we are discussing about potato and fruits, all these things.
Pardon?
Well, food, this is the previous one. We generally more spoke strictly on potatoes, then all the fruits.
Yeah, potatoes. So see, potatoes are raw material, na? It's agriculture product. Fine.
Yes.
But after processing, you can make chips. You can make so many kinds of products from potatoes. Fine.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you need machinery. You need kind of equipments which can increase the shelf life of that potato. Fine.
Yes.
So in that sense, we have a scheme called CMUA. CMUA is a scheme which is very unique, and it is not in India. It's only in UP. It's collateral free. 5 lakh up to 5 lakh rupees is being given by the bank. First of all, second, 10% is the subsidy amount. If any person is taking 5 lakh rupees loan, 50,000 rupees subsidy is being transferred in his account directly from the government within 2 months. Then this loan is insured. This means that the insurance amount, that is CGTMSE, which is a central body, it is insuring the loan amount, and that amount is borne by the UP government. Third point, this scheme is collateral free, and fourth point is that in this scheme the interest is borne by the government for the 4 years. So if any person is taking 5 lakh rupees loan, 50,000 is the subsidy amount which government is giving to the beneficiary. Then second, that he doesn't have to give any kind of collateral. Third, that loan is insured, and fourth, that is interest free. So what any person can want anything else? It's the best scheme. And in the last 2 months, in February and March, 1,018 loans have been disbursed in Kanpur Nagar only. So it's a very good scheme for all those persons who just want to start from the scratch. But if any person is just trying to establish industry in a larger frame, first of all, we have a kind of policy which is very, very beneficial. Their policy is called MSME Policy 2022. Under that policy, a person can, when he is just trying to purchase the land, while during the purchasing of the land, a person always pays stamp duty. So in that stamp duty, in our Kanpur Nagar, 75% stamp duty is exempted. 75%. I mean, a person who is just trying to establish a large unit of making chips. So if he is purchasing 10-acre lands or 10 bigha lands, the stamp duty on that land, 75% has been exempted. through my office. In this case, the person who is going to make registry, 1 day before he has to come to my office, and from the bank he has to make the bank guarantee, and on the bank guarantee is name in the name of the DM sir, and we simply sign as a approval that this person is going to establish industry and 75% stamp duty is exempted. Then when after some time, 4 months, 5 months, or 1 year, the industry is established. After the establishment of the industry, if a person has to invest in land, a person has to invest in the building, and the person has to invest in machinery. In machinery, a person is, if, for example, if it's a heavy industry or medium industry, a person the investment is nearly 20 crores. So out of that 20 crores, 15% of that money which is invested in the machinery, that is exempted through this policy. It's a huge relief. Besides it, when the business is on roll, it's running, the SGST, the state government part of the GST, it is borne by it is exempted. So all these kind of benefits simply boost the industry, simply enhance the industry, simply are kind of great relief to the industry. So it's a very kind of routine thing from my side, but I think the person who is not aware, they can avail of these kind of facilities. Another facility is a small facility, but it's up to 5 lakh. So I think that all kinds of persons from low level to high level investors, they are interested in this kind of field. So in that scheme, there is a scheme called technical upgradation. After running the industry for 3 years, successful for the 3 years, if any person is establishing a new machine, and because of establishment of the new machine, the productivity and the quality of the product is enhanced, 5 lakh rupees is given in this scheme for establishment of the new machinery. So, sir, to all of you, it's my request, and it's my basically privilege that I'm attached with you for the first time, and hope these kind of schemes, if any kind of seminar are arranged, kindly invite me, and I shall tell all this with the PPT and with all the kind of details, so that these schemes which are not in the reach of many people, it can be spread. People avail this kind of facilities, which is the real intention of the government, that these schemes, these benefits should be reached to the proper person. So thanks to all of you, and it was my privilege to join this webinar.
Sir, one question. Our values are from different states. So whatever talking, this is for UP, or that also such provision is also for other state also.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
So you are giving 5 lakhs loan, 50,000 subsidy, then 4 months no interest. So is it for only UP, or this should be for throughout India?
What's the last line?
This is only for UP government, or this is throughout India? This is Indian government. This is
no, it's for UP.
It's for UP, because our members are from different states, covering all over India. So if there is other facility also in the other part of the country, then that will also benefit to our members also. Basically, we are also engineer. So if you
for all India, there is a scheme called PMEGP, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. In that scheme, a person can avail loan up to 50 lakhs, and in that scheme, the subsidy amount is 35%. So they can avail that scheme, PMEGP, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. But in UP, right now, it's the vision of the CM sir. They have launched this scheme in January, and it's running very beautifully.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other queries? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, I'm sure you will be with us up to the end of the program.
I have to move to my native place, and so I shall be on my way. Is it any issue?
Actually, since you are talking about the potato chips now, so we have a lecture on that also. Himanshu Gupta from IIT, he will speak on that most probably.
Okay. I shall never miss that.
For a few minutes you can stay with us.
I'm here.
Then apart from that, sir, you have to provide the certificate appreciation to the speakers if you have time. If you are going prior to that, then we'll just skip off that program and go do ask for your timing, sir.
Hi, sir. I'm here.
Okay, thank you, sir. Series, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for introducing us with all the government schemes which are running in UP and which are helpful for any person who wants to establish industry in food processing unit. So now I request Dr. Pradeep Kumar, ex-HOD of Civil Engineering Department, HBTU Kanpur, to introduce us all with the guest speakers of this webinar. Dr. Pradeep Kumar, sir.
Thank you, sir. It is my privilege to read out the brief formal biodata of the guest speakers of the today's webinar, and I am delighted that there are three speakers who are going to present their talk, and will be definitely going to be benefited from this. So let me just start brief format of Kumar. Kumar Shukla is a distinguished academician and researcher with over 3 decades of experience in education and research. Having completed his PhD from IIT Kanpur in 2005, Dr. Shukla has held various leadership positions, including director at Shiat College of Engineering, Varanasi, 2024 to the present time, SIT Kanpur and SOE RK University, Rajkot. He has also served as Associate Professor of PDEU Gandhinagar and BBM Engineering College. Dr. Shukla has guided 4 PhD students in the areas such as absorption cooling, heat storage, sustainable manufacturing, and surface treatment. As a member of the Indian Society of Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, he has also contributed to the development of industry standards, serving on the Standard Committee for Evaluative Coolers. Currently, he provides consulting services for NAC and NBA accreditation processes. With his expertise, Dr. Shukla continues to contribute significantly to the field of engineering, education, and research. And he will be available for the talk for a shorter time. And this is a brief introduction. So I think I would request Mr. Das to kindly request Dr. Shukla to proceed with this lecture so that we can move ahead with the other introductions later on. Thank you. Mr. Das.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request.
Thank you.
Now I request Engineer Himanshu Gupta from Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Kanpur, a research associate.
Serious?
Yes, sir.
नहीं अभी
I'll also small
introduction about you. Yes.
Himanshu Gupta.
Yes.
Okay.
And Kesav
So I'll also continue with the introduction.
Sure.
So last, should I continue?
Yes. केशव कांत और दोनों कैसे करना?
Okay. अच्छा उनका भी करना. Okay.
उनको दोनों कर दे एक साथ.
So Mr. Himanshu Gupta is presently employed at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, as a project engineer, and he is a project engineer in the Department of Design. Earlier, he served as a lecturer of Dr. Visgoi, Viran group of institutions of now, and SIP at Lucknow. He feels very satisfied over his 7 years of expertise in the domains of design, simulation, and training. Concurrently, he is pursuing his PhD in mechanical engineering from HBTU Kanpur. He acquired his MTech degree in computer-aided design from HBTU Kanpur. So this is a small introduction of Mr. Himanshu Gupta. So I'll also read out the introduction of a very learned and a very veteran professor of IIT Kanpur, Professor Keshav Kant. He's a former professor of mechanical engineering from IIT Kanpur and served about 38 years until 2005. he obtained BSc Engineering degree in Mechanical Engineering. In 1964, way back, from BITS Mesa Ranchi, and ME with honors from the University of Roorkee, now it is IIT Roorkee, in 1966. He obtained his PhD degree in 1983 from McGill University, Montreal, Canada. He has more than 48 years of total teaching and research experience to his credit, including 38 years at IIT Kanpur. He has supervised 52 graduate students, including 7 PhDs and 45 MTechs, during cutting-edge research in the areas of thermal sciences. He is a fellow of Institution of Engineers and has been chairman of IEI Kanpur Center. He is co-author, co-editor of the following books: Renewable Fuels, CRC Press, Air Pollution and Control, Khanna Publishing, Water Pollution Management, Control and Treatment, New Age International, and Strategies for Rural Development, co-editor Arnold Hillman, 1988. He has, to his credit, 95 publications in national and international journals and proceedings of national and international conferences, including 3 monographs. He was until recently involved with several design-oriented projects at RUTEC IIT Kanpur. He has been a reviewer to many journals and conferences. He has been a visiting professor to 2 US universities and taught various fundamental courses and was considered as an excellent teacher by the students. He is a recipient of several awards and honors as is listed in Who is Who in the World 2010 edition. He was also an invited speaker to the Department of Mechanical Engineering of the University of Tokyo, Japan, University of Hong Kong, and to the Department of Chemical Engineering of Clarkson University, Postgan, Europe. He was involved with the technology development, mainly studying the effect of surfactants on heat and mass transfer enforcement, enhancement in LIBR H2O absorption refrigeration system, process intensification in gas-to-gas heat exchange via a solid medium, and retrofitting small capacity refrigeration systems with new refrigerants. He has wide experience of a wide range of other experiences, including invited seminars in India, attending national and international conferences, supervision of 30 senior BTech projects, industrial consultancy projects, sponsored projects, and curricular development. He has also been very actively involved with the Institution of Business Council Center in supervising AMI students for their final projects. He has so far supervised 46 AMI students of mechanical engineering. So I'm really feel honored and privileged to read the biodata for the 3 guest speakers of today's webinar, and I would request now, and I will hand over to the organizer or convener of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. As our one speaker, Dr. Ajit K. Shukla sir, has already delivered his lecture on refrigeration system with saving power. Now I request Engineer Himanshu Gupta, Research Associate, Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Kanpur, to deliver his lecture on design of a vegetable part. Engineer Himanshu Gupta, sir.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible, perfectly audible.
Okay. Thank you so much for this invitation. And I would like to share my screen. So please tell me whether the screen is visible or something should. Hello.
Yeah, screen is visible, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, good evening. I will continue on lecture the board immediately because most of the community are outer states. So my design of vegetable card is depend upon the vendors, especially they are the lower income and selling their vegetable day by day. They bring that vegetable and sell it. Okay. So what is the need of the refrigeration? So only cooling system especially maintain the temperature of the certain space lower than the temperature of the out space. So this is refrigeration or the cooling system helps to prevent the spoilage of food and the preservative from any kind of degradation of quality. Hello, is sound is clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good, okay, good. Thank you. To achieve this effective refrigeration, the internal environment of the cart must be ensured that food is item remain within the recommended temperature range. Because अगर वेजिटेबल्स की बात करें तो ज़्यादातर जो ग्रीन वेजिटेबल्स होती हैं तो उनका जो टेम्परेचर होता है वो अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 15 डिग्री से 25 डिग्री तक वेरी करना चाहिए. Because other if the temperature range goes beyond the minus goes lower the 15 degree centigrade, then what जो moisture होता है then moisture become the converted into ice. और वो प्रॉब्लम करता है कि वो हमारी जो क्वालिटी है उसको डिग्रेड करता है. समटाइम इट विल degrade the overall overall nutrition of the fruit and as well as the vegetables. तो हमें यहाँ पे सबसे पहले ये देखना था कि कौन कौन से ऐसे फैक्टर्स हैं जो एक एटमॉस्फेयर में जो कूलिंग स्पेस है उसमें प्रभावित हैं. तो सबसे पहला है कि टेम्परेचर. कुछ फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स हैं जो लोअर टेम्परेचर सस्टेन करते हैं, कुछ है जो हमारे विद इन अ नॉर्मल रेंज जो एसी में लगभग 25 to 30 डिग्री तक सस्टेन करते हैं. So, on the basis of different type of fruit and vegetables, we have discussed with the so many vendors near about the Nawabganj and the Kalyanpur area, and they suggest that if we are going to design a cart, so the cart the temperature should be in the range of 15 degree to 20 degrees centigrade should be. So, what is the history of food preservation using cooling system? So, pre-cooling era using the time the wet cloth or something cart using on which we apply the water and the evaporation, natural evaporation especially, and the cooling effect will be produced. And after that, the ice box where we are using that we kept all the food and vegetable in the closed chamber, and the closed chamber is surrounded by the ice cube. So the temperature of the portion is lower than the atmosphere temperature. And some mechanical cooling is early mid of 1900 degree, 1900 century is said the electric and gas powered refrigeration. So small scale refrigeration unit are available at that time and mostly used by the large delivery truck. And so now is currently time what happens some mobile cooling car or mobile cooling card are available, but this card using operated by the vapor compression or vapor compression system, and the vapor compression system is not fully working as the refrigeration system using our home at the refrigerator. So it consumes more electricity. So the mobility is depending upon the what is the power source and where is the mobility of this welding card is to be utilized. So, depending upon all the history concerned, we are going to develop a vending card which is basically operated with the temperature range within a temperature range of 15 degree to 20 degrees centigrade. So, so what is the need of the cooling? According to IDI Director Dr. A. K. Singh, around in India, approximately 40% of food and vegetables are wasted in India, and it is due to because of lack of cold storage facilities, and especially at the lower and lower class vendors, especially. And if we're talking about the globally, the record or the record is especially approximately 40% 45 to 50 50%. So in this data, according talking about the major concern of the food wastage in due to the refrigeration, especially in India as well as the Asian as well as African countries. And for example, if we're talking about tomato, it can spoil to less than 2 days without the cooling in the tropical heat. The intensity approximately 35 degrees centigrade, so tomato cannot be sustained more than 2 days. It leaves lost 50% of shelf life if the store temperature is about above the 10 degrees centigrade. If the banana, you can see I'm talking about it degrade the 3 times faster if the temperature goes beyond the 30 degrees centigrade. So different food and vegetable having a different sustain or shelf life too, and all the shelf life is depending upon the uh, at which temperature they are storage. So, what is the requirement of cooling system in food preservation? The food is food basis food is extensive heat and climate change. The most of main reason of degradation of the quality of food and reduce the massive food waste. 45% of food and vegetable spoil before the consumption. because जो लोकल वेंडर्स हैं अभी केस अगर उन्होंने मॉर्निंग में कोई फूड या वेजिटेबल को परचेज किया है तो उससे लगभग वो 10 घंटे या 6 घंटे पहले 7 घंटे पहले फॉर्मर्स उनको अपनी जो फील्ड है या जहाँ पे उन्होंने उसे उगाया उसको लेके मार्केट में आते हैं उसे मंडी करते हैं देन इसके बाद वो जाकर के लोकल मार्केट में या स्ट्रीट पे या लोकल जो मंडी है वहाँ पे जाकर के वो बेचते हैं उस दौरान पे लगभग ये टाइम ड्यूरेशन हमारा 20 hours से 24 hours तक के बीच का हो सकता है हो जाता है in that condition what happened the most of the food quality is already degraded approximately 30 to 40% quality is degraded and when all the food and vegetable is shipped to the customer also preserve for 1 day or 2 days in their homes. And then that time, what happened, the actual quality or actual nutrition of fruits is completely degraded. So we can say that अगर उसने किसी भी चीज की क्वालिटी 100% है तो जब तक हम उसे कंज्यूम करने की स्टेट में जाते हैं that is reaches approximately to 20 to 30%. That is the main reason that we cannot consume the full nutrition of any full nutrition of any vegetable or fruit from it. So that is the reason. The second is the lower the greenhouse gas emission. The conventional refrigeration अगर हम use करेंगे that is the HFC, means hydrofluorocarbon that emits the chlorine gas and it's especially radius for the oxygen there. And many of the research studies says that HFC gases is the depletion of uh, uh, ozone layer is because of the hydrofluorocarbons. And that's why the many countries sign a treaty that we cannot use the hydrofluorocarbon for the refrigeration purpose and the other alternative they have been chosen. And the third thing is for the requirement that the safe water and energy, because the traditional cold chain consume huge electricity and fossil fuel that directly impact the climate and the environment. Then our main consideration of this design that the poor farmers and the vendors are losing their 35 to 50% their produce due to the lack of affordable refrigeration. That we have discussed that उन्होंने परचेज किया है तो मार्केट में जाने से पहले ही उनका आधा चीज तो खराब हो चुकी होती है तो जो बचा हुआ उनके पास जो भी गुड्स हैं उसके उन्हें अपने प्राइसेस को मैनिपुलेट करना होता है तो प्राइसेस अल्टीमेटली हाई होते हैं जो भी हम लोग फूड या वेजिटेबल लेते हैं लोग उन्हें महंगे दामों में बेचते हैं और काफी चीज को वेस्ट कर देते हैं तो वी हैव targeted that we just develop a branding card that is suitable to poor farmer as well as the vendors to keep their goods in a preserved way. And then requirement of cooling to improve the nutrition as well as the food safety because excessive heat directly evaporate all water content from the food and vegetable that degrade especially the vitamin C, which is very helpful for the bone, our bone. And then what is the cooling? We're talking about the what is the mechanism we are using right now for the cooling purpose. That is the general mechanism we are discuss about. Then vapor compression system, which is the mechanism used in refrigeration and air conditioning in our home and houses. Then vapor absorption system, that is used in the cold absorption system. Ammonia water system is the most portable for it. Then ice cold box, it means the some chamber is surrounded by the ice, so that to maintain the temperature lower than the atmospheric temperature. And then the water evaporation system. The water evaporation system, that the system used in our air cooler, so that the kinetic energy of air directly use helps to evaporate the water and drop the enthalpy, results in which results to enhance to decrease the temperature of the surround specified area. And last is the air refrigeration system, in which the air used as a refrigerant, and this system is not used in any domestic or any commercial purpose. It is only used in airplanes or any aviation industry, because a low weight to power ratio is required. So first we talking about the what is a vapor compression system. So compression system is having the four cycle, that is a compressor. This is used to compress the refrigerant, then is go to the evaporator, where he absorb the heat from the storage area. Then that is then uh, first is first is compress the refrigerant from specified in the compressor. Then it is go to the second point, it is the condenser. Condenser is the place where it will the refrigerant lost their energy or heat to the atmosphere. Then it is go to the expansion valve. Expansion valve especially drop the enthalpy. It will drop the enthalpy and reduce the temperature, and the converts of this refrigerant into the liquid stage. And this liquid stage, it when enters into the evaporator, it absorbs heat from the cooled area, and up again the cycle is repeated every time. So compression in the refrigerant we are using, especially R13 and R600A, for making the space temperature, um, making the space temperature lesser than the outside. Then second thing is the condensation. Condensation especially lost the heat to the atmosphere, which is the compressor generate and transfer to the refrigerant. Because if the condenser not reject or not dissipate their heat to the atmosphere, the result in the cooling effect is not achieved. So this is the cycle that how to this experiment, how this cycle is going to. First, the compressor is compress the refrigerant, and refrigerant go to the condenser, where it was reject the heat to the atmosphere. And after that, the expansion valve drop the drop the refrigerant to the evaporator, and where it absorb the heat. And this is the pH diagram, it means temperature and entropic diagram, which drives out to where is the state. This is the vaporized state of the refrigerant. The second system we are using, especially in the cold storage, that is a vapor absorption system. Here we are using the ammonia as well as the water system to absorb the heat in a specified area. So first the water as well as the ammonia system is passes to the vapor generator. Then it absorbs the heat, and then it is passes to the evaporator. Evaporators help the absorb the heat and evaporate the ammonia and the water separately. When this is passed, this liquid nitrogen is passes to the evaporator, absorb the heat and absorber, dissipate the heat as well, water as well as ammonia differently. Then key factor of the component we are using in vapor absorption system, that is the generator, which boils the refrigerator is ammonia, and our absorbent the condenser that represent vapor flows into the liquid. Expansion valve, which is the liquid refrigerator expand dropping pressure and temperature. Evaporator, the cold storage absorb the heat from the vegetable component and absorber, where the refrigerator combined with the absorbent and de-straddle the cycle. Then third one is the solid state cooling system. Solid state cooling system is also called sometimes the Prandtl module or Prandtl cooling system, which is especially the reverse of the Seebeck effect. In the Seebeck effect, we have seen that we are just providing the electrical when we heat the two terminals of the distinct material, then what happens? The EMF is generated. The reverse we have the when we provided the EMF, then what happened? The one side is become cooler and one side become hotter. So P-N junction we have used to form the Peltier module. And what happened in the Peltier module that one side is a cooler. Suppose top side is cooler, then bottom side is the hotter place. The ratio of, or we can say the at this one, at what ratio the cooling side is cooled, the opposite side, it means hotter side hot to the same amount. So this system is basically used for the small scale refrigeration purpose. And the fourth one is a water evaporation system, that is a desert air cooler system in which the air fan, fast moving fan, especially evaporate the water from the cooling pad. The water, this pad is completely wetted by the water, and when the high velocity air passes over it, what happens then? All the water molecules is due to the kinetic energy of air molecules is collide and result it evaporate the water, and due to evaporation of the water, the overall enthalpy drop in a certain area is decreases. The due to decreases the enthalpy area because the enthalpy is directly proportional to temperature, the overall temperature is goes down. So what is the key benefit or key principle of water evaporation system? This system especially work good for the temperature where the humidity is less than 50%. So most of the Indian state like अगर यूपी की बात करें पंजाब की बात करें जितने भी नॉर्थ इंडियन स्टेट हैं फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आज की बात करें तो आज की कांट्री की जो efficiency जो रिलेटिव ह्यूमिडिटी है हमारे स्टेट पर भी वो अप्रोक्सीमेटली 40%. तो जिस भी स्टेट में अगर बारिश की वैल्यू रिलेटिव ह्यूमिडिटी इज लेस देन 50%, in that states this water evaporation system is even perform more good over the vapor compression refrigeration system, because vapor compression system में क्या होता है कि एनर्जी किसी भी सिस्टम से इवन द मॉइस्चर जो होता है वो किसी भी सिस्टम से एब्जॉर्ब होता है. अभी काफी देर में अगर एसी में अगर कोई बैठा है तो उसकी स्किन पर थोड़ा सा रूखापन आता है, तो वो रूखापन या ड्राइनेस की वजह से होती है बिकॉज द एसी सिस्टम एब्जॉर्ब द हीट इन द सर्टेन प्लेस. तो एब्जॉर्ब द हीट के साथ साथ वो क्या करता है कि आपका जो ह्यूमिडिटी है रिलेटिव ह्यूमिडिटी दैट इज एब्जॉर्ब, तो इट मींस दैट एब्जॉर्ब द मॉइस्चर. तो यही रीजन है कि बरसात के दिनों में जब एसी में पीछे से पानी गिरता है बिकॉज जो कोटिंग कॉइल्स होती है मॉइस्चर काफी ज्यादा है, दैट इज व्हाई the water droplet is coming out from the refrigeration system. So this system is basically work better when the relative heat relative humidity less than the 50%, and we are talking about the what is the temperature limit. It means how will be effective. So typically temperature drop is approximately 5 to 15 degrees centigrade we can achieve. सो अगर यूट्यूब में फॉर एग्जांपल आज का टेम्परेचर 38 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, अगर हमने 58 डिग्री तक का टेम्परेचर को डाउन कर लिया तो हमारा टेम्परेचर लिमिट वही 20 टू 25 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड वी कैन अचीव. सो दैट दिस टेम्परेचर लिमिट इज स्पेशली suitable for the most of the food and vegetables, and most of the thing that the water evaporation system is low maintenance as well as affordable to everyone. That is why we are using this, our design on the basis of water evaporation system. So air conditioning या cooling system we are discussed. So some conventionally जो aeroplanes होते हैं उसमें जो हमारा cooling system होता है उसमें किसी भी तरीके का we cannot use any kind of refrigerant like ammonia, chlorine water used in the vapor absorption or vapor compression में जैसे R22 या 410 that we cannot use any kind of vapor refrigerant in airplane because we designed the airplane on the basis of low power to weight ratio. If we use a separate air conditioning unit, so overall increasing the flight rate, and that's why overall increasing the power source required to drive the airplane. So that's why we are using the air. That's simply in concept based on कि हमने एक ट्यूब लिया रोटा एंड उसके अंदर भी फिल अप द एयर सो क्या होगा कि जब भी एक ट्यूब के अंदर से गाड़ी का ट्यूब है उसके अंदर एयर फ्लो करेंगे देन फ्लो क्या होगा कि एक समय के बाद जब प्रेशर बढ़ेगा ट्यूब के अंदर देन वो एक प्रेशर बढ़ने की वजह से उसमें कुछ एनर्जी आएगी बिकॉज द मॉलिक्यूल गेट कॉम्पैक्टेड बट व्हेन द टेम्परेचर इज सडनली when the volume suddenly increase then what happened that the temperature is goes down at the same concept happening in the aeroplane that is the ramp air. It means the ambient air is coming into the motor or compressor. Then it passes to the evaporator. Evaporator means that is a condenser system. So it rejects some heat and then expander. And expander के बाद ये क्या होता है कि एक evaporator channel है जहाँ पे जो जो पैसेंजर है सिटिंग एरिया या कोल्ड स्टोरेज है वहाँ के बाद वो डायरेक्टली क्या होता है ओपन एरिया में चला जाता है तो दिस इज दैट्स व्हाई द एयर वाटर evaporation system and the air cooling system is a open channel refrigeration system. It means the air or refrigerant is not circulate in a cycle. But we're talking about the options or vapor compression system. The same refrigerant is circulating in every cycle. So this is a closed chamber refrigeration system. So what we are using in our design that so what is the constraint we are using? So what is the objective of our design that we have to design a vegetable cart that is especially for the farmers, our farmers as well as the vendor to sell their fruit and vegetable within the long range. Because ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि वो जितना भी सामान एक दिन लेके आए वो अगले दिन उधर पूरा पूरा बेच दे मे बी एक दो दिन उसे प्रिक्योर करने के रखना पड़ सकता है. So that's why it should be affordable because जो most of the refrigerations होते हैं अगर refrigeration vending part की बात करें so it is approximately cost of 1.1 lakh to 1.5 lakh. So that is not affordable for those person which is having the per day income of 600 to 700 rupees. So huge chances of their wastage of food and vegetables. Then second thing, the power requirement because the conventional refrigeration system we are using in our home have required so much power, but where is selling the fruit and vegetable in the mandi, they cannot get the arrangement of any power source. They cannot use any generator or anything over there. So that is the second requirement that we have designed on the basis of the low power operating system. So we are considered only 12 volt DC power source that is a UPS battery or the rechargeable battery or solar operated system. Then second is the storage that is the conventionally जो refrigeration vending parts market में available हैं that is occupy more area because the जो vapor compression system है that is a heavy as well as occupy the major area of the vending cart. So we are trying to develop or design the cart without compromising the available space over there. And this one point is the incorporate with the existing design, because the uh, most of the vegetable part is the four wheel system, and we have seen it in here also. We are not recommended to anyone to design the new type of bending vegetable part. You just bring the system from the market or some kind of kit, and you just install within the system. In addition, we are talking about some useful attachment we have provided to people, like we can carry their own food to, as well as some water bottle, some medicine or some other kind of essential goods, and sometimes normal vending vegetable or vending cart who don't have any sunroof or overhead canopy or shed. So we have incorporated all of this in to make the design period. So for designing and development, we are using some component like the vegetable cart that is existing for normally the conventional four wheel system we are using. Then fan one, fan two. Fan one is especially for the desert cooling system, and fan two that is used under the canopy area. And that canopy area provides the air on a vegetable to make their help in the evaporation process, and the same air is flown on a blender. So the cool air, especially we can say that passes to blender. Then three is the grass pad. Grass pad is especially used the same as the desert cooling system. Then the second, the water tank to store the water. The structure, this air desert system we are using for designing the building part. Then the pipeline system we have that circulate the water in the upper lower portion as well as the lower portion of the vending part. Then nozzle it means the help, because the final the it will spray the water. When it is sprayed, if the volume is increases, and due to increasing the volume, the rate of evaporation is proportional to the volume of water in a space. So nozzle we are using to increasing the rate of evaporation. Then water pump, it is a hand operated pump. We can use some 12 volt, 12 volt DC water pump as well, which is used in the harvest, giving the farmer using to spread the DBT in their field. Then solar plate or battery system and the electrical switch. These are the some prime constraint, the prime requirement of our design, vending car design. So next slide, this is the design we have prepared in our institute under the guidance of Professor M.S. Vyas and Professor Keshav Kansar. So this is the design that the solar panel in the right hand side, and the canopy we have the second requirement as we discussed. Then the vertical column, and with the help of vertical column we have provided the stability of the canopy structure. And the bottom portion we have seen that the wider mesh kind of attachment. This is a made of some steel structure of low weighted aluminum structure, which is help what is that say that इसको थोड़ा सा आपको zoom करके अभी दिखना चाहेंगे, because the lower portion we cannot directly understand what is inside it. So then this is a wooden strip, and this is a handle for the push and pull purpose. This is a wheel as the conventional vegetable cart they have, and this is below the area we are using a desert cooling system, which is followed by the water evaporation system, making the space cooler, and the frame structure and water pump. These are the some. This is a hand operated water pump, especially we can use a motorized as well. So we can just directly come to the our design. So this is a system we have designed that which is simply based on the desert cooler system. we just taking the dimension our level. We just taking the dimension of structure based on the available card. So the lower portion of the printing card is totally wasted because most of the vendors what will does that if they have some bulky things then they are putting inside the vending card. But the rest most of the vending card vendors that they don't using that portion. That is a completely waste. So we are utilize those under portion of vegetable card. So we use some dessert cooling system of it. So this is the water pad we have shown, and this is a two compartment, first one and second one, and the lower portion is provided for the cables. One portion is provided for holding the water, the second thing the cooling space as well as the top portion is showing here. We can understand in the main design. So this is the water system for air desert system. The air desert cooling system we are designing in our lab. Then this is the main design that this is the main design that we have the 3D model built on the SolidWorks system. That this is the pull system. You can pull. This is the rotating wheel. So conventional wheel that as it is. Then all the structure, vegetable part structure same as the available in the market. So we have just developed a small kind of kit that is directly used and used by the vendors or sellers directly because अगर उन्होंने मार्केट में कुछ भी खरीदा है फॉर एग्जांपल रात में मुझे प्रिजर्व करके रखना है तो मोस्ट ऑफ द वेंडर्स से हमें ये भी पता चला था कि उन्हें बार बार लोडिंग एंड अनलोडिंग करनी पड़ती है तो लोडिंग एंड अनलोडिंग करते समय क्या होता है कि काफी ज्यादा जो उनका जो फूड है या वेजिटेबल है वो भी ग्रीन्स है वो डैमेज भी होते हैं तो जब डैमेज होते हैं तो कोई भी उन्हें होता नहीं अल्टीमेटली वो भी डैमेज होते हैं और उसकी वजह से क्या करता है उन्हें हटाना पड़ता है because it will they not subtract all the defaulting grains from there. So वो क्या करते हैं कि जो अच्छे grains हैं अगर अच्छा फूड या वेजिटेबल है उसको भी वो खराब करते हैं because the degradation started. So this is the canopy area. Fan is mounted over here one fan, and the what is the middle portion we have. So this is the aluminium or MS kind of structure. So this structure क्या है कि एक angles पे mount है and what is the angles does and below this portion we have a small fan. A small fan what does the small fan increasing the rate of evaporation because हमने evaporation इसमें यहाँ पे जो fan को use किया है that we are using the fan in the opposite direction. It means the upward direction. We are not using any kind of any wall. बिकॉज जब अगर एक स्टडीज के हिसाब से कि अगर रेट ऑफ एयर बहुत ज़्यादा होगा तो रेट ऑफ इवोपरेशन भी ज़्यादा होगा तो रेट ऑफ इवोपरेशन ज़्यादा होते समय अगर वेजिटेबल्स में वाटर है तो दैट इज ओके दैट द वाटर इज इवोपरेटेड फ्रॉम द वेजिटेबल आउटर अपर surface of the vegetable. If the vegetable if the water is not sufficient, then what happens? It consumes, it evaporates the water available within the vegetable or food. So sometimes this is maybe especially those vegetable having enriched in iron. स्पेशली अगर आप धनिया की बात करें जितनी हरी सब्जी की बात करें अगर उसे आप डायरेक्टली मॉइस्चर में एक्सपोज करके रखेंगे then what happened it will completely dry within 2 to 3 hours. So that's why the most of the shopkeeper or the vendor are putting are wetted cloth or anything else that prevent from the direct air exposure. So that's why we are using the this fan in the upward direction. So what happened that the air is intake on this pad from the three sides, uh, front side, back side, and two rear sides. So the rate of rate which is passing over this fan is approximately 10 to 20 meter per second. So that's why is this space is this space become fuller as our requirement. We can get some data and according to it approximately nowadays the temperature inside this cabinet approximately 25 degree to 25 to 27 degrees centigrade on an average. And above it, we are using fan. So what is the uses of over the fan? Because this is a hand operated pump. When this pump is rotated, then water is coming from this is a hand operated pump. Then what happened? Then a small tank area is here. The water is coming from this tank area and supplied from this pipe to this channel of pipeline. This one. So what happened? This So what happened? This pipe having some small opening. It works as a nozzle as well as we can directly use the nozzle. So what happened? What the help of this structure in this vegetable cart when we can achieve the cooling in a 2 day. The first cooling we are achieving in the bottom side of the vegetable cart by the desert cooling system as well as the top portion we can achieve the cooling by the sprinkle way. The water is coming in the form of nozzle and all the water is coming in the center part of the vegetable cart. And after that, what happens naturally as well as forcibly the air provided by the fan provided over the air, over the canopy. So what happened? The air evaporate the water which is directly imposed on the vegetables as well as manually we have provided any water on vegetables. So helping of this attachment we can achieve two way of cooling system. First one from the desert as well as the sprinkle way. So after the when the water is coming on this top surface of the wooden block, the small opening are there. These are the small opening. This is the small opening. Due to the small opening, what happened? The water is coming back to the reservoir. Water. It is tank. Water is coming back to the reservoir. So this is the overall design we have considered in our mind to meet the requirement of vegetable vendors, especially. And this is the power switch. Some switches are there. We charging the mobile charge and drive the fan, anything you can do with the help of power operator system. So battery and solar we can use combine both of them or use one of them. It's just sufficient to use this system. Thank you so much. This is from my side. Okay, anything or anything question you have. And one more thing that the loading and unloading constraint we have observed. So we have the vertical column. So some अगर उनके पास कोई भी ऐसा त्रिपाल या समथिंग कुछ है तो उसको फिक्स करके इसमें अपने जो उन्हें लास्ट में लोडिंग या अनलोडिंग करने की भी कोई जरूरत नहीं होती. And this is manually you can set that after 30 minutes we just one sprinkle is coming after 30 seconds the second will come. So overnight इन्हें लोडिंग अनलोडिंग नहीं करनी पड़ती है. And that जो वेंडिंग कार्ड है इसी के अंदर उनको फुल रेफ्रिजरेशन सिस्टम एक डेजर्ट रेफ्रिजरेशन सिस्टम में प्रोवाइड करने का एक आइडिया है. थैंक यू सो मच सर.
Thank you so much, sir. If anyone have any query, then you can ask to our guest speaker, Mayutta sir.
What's the cost of this vehicle cart?
Sir, apart from the existing part model, we just developed the overall structure, canopy, and the desert cooling system. We have approximately parts for 50,000 rupees only.
Ah, so if this project is going to be viable and feasible, so this can be covered in the CMEWA. We are already providing food on cart. All those food vendors who are selling their items like Chinese and all those on the roadside, we are getting financed in the CMEWA. So if this project can be financed through our scheme.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Uh, yes, sir. We can ready to work with. We can ready, sir. So basically, the existing model जो भी हमारे पास मार्केट में है that we have उसी में ही हमने बनाने की कोशिश की है. लेकिन इसमें भी अभी एक कंस्ट्रेंट आ सकता है किसी के मतलब माइंड में कि अभी तो ठीक है रिलेटिव इम्यूनिटी अगर हम नॉर्थन स्टेट की बात करें जैसे कि नॉर्थ इंडिया 40% है बट आफ्टर मई अगर जून की बात करें जुलाई की बात करें देन जो इम्यूनिटी होगी वो 70 to 80% ही अचीव करेगी. एट दैट कंडीशन अगर हम इस सिस्टम को यूज करते हैं तो हमारे पास चांसेस हैं कि हमारा जो भी फल है या सब्जी है वो खराब भी हो सकती है क्योंकि मौसम में अगर ज्यादा होगी तो वो प्रॉब्लम करेगा. देन इसका सॉल्यूशन ये है कि वी कैन ड्राई द एयर विद द हेल्प ऑफ वी जस्ट शोइंग one method of refrigeration that is the solid state cooling. We also working on it that अगर हम इसको combined form में बना सकते हैं. अभी तो हमारा फर्स्ट ट्रायल में जो फर्स्ट प्रोटोटाइप था वो तो हमारा सीधा डेजर्ट कूलिंग सिस्टम पे था. देन सेकंड हम अभी ये भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जब हमारा डेजर्ट कूलिंग सिस्टम इफेक्टिव नहीं रहता स्पेशली अगर जुलाई अगस्त की बात करें स्पेशली कानपुर में और जितने माउंटेन स्टेट है देन अगर हम उस समय उस सिस्टम को एक ऐसे सिस्टम के साथ सब्स्टिट्यूट करें जो एयर को डीह्यूमिडिफाई करके एक रेफ्रिजरेशन सिस्टम प्रोवाइड करे. दैट इज अ सोन वेपर कंप्रेशन सिस्टम एक्चुअली. सो ये हमने एक ट्रायल किया था अपने एक छोटे से चैम्बर के साथ दैट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10 इंच का 5 इंच और हमने पाया कि अभी जैसे टेम्परेचर हमारे सेट में था देन वो टेम्परेचर अप्रोक्सीमेटली 28 डिग्री था जब हमने स्टार्ट किया. देन 10 मिनट चलाने के बाद या 15 मिनट चलाने के बाद वो टेम्परेचर हमारा 20 डिग्री आ गया और जब वो आधे घंटे चला देन वो टेम्परेचर हमारा 11 से 12 डिग्री तक आ गया. So we are going to try to implement this idea as well as in this part. Hello.
यस सर, यस सर.
Yes.
सर मेरा एक थोड़ा सा ओपिनियन और था कि इसमें जैसे आपने जो भी हमारे फूड आइटम्स हैं उनके बारे में बताया था तो जैसे जो भी वेंडर्स हैं तो उनकी भी एक एफिशिएंसी हम लोग बढ़ा सकते हैं. इनके जो आपने डिज़ाइन दी हुई है ऊपर की सनशेड की तो जो सन का पाथ है उसके थ्रू अगर हम जो इसकी डिज़ाइन है उसको उस तरह से करते हैं कि मैक्सिमम टाइम उसको भी सनशेड मिलता रहे. ये चीज भी एक ऊपर से की जा सकती है मेरे हिसाब से.
सनसेट तो देखिए डिपेंड करता है कि आपको कितना कैनोपी का एरिया चाहिए.
जी जी.
आप अगर उस कैनोपी के एरिया को घटा भी सकते हैं बढ़ा भी सकते हैं दैट इज डिपेंड अपॉन द अवर रिक्वायरमेंट. कई लोगों को देखा है कि वो कैनोपी के बाद एक ऐसी प्लास्टिक की शेड की नीचे तक रखते हैं ताकि आसपास अगर कोई उसमें अगर फूड या वेजिटेबल नहीं है फॉर एग्जांपल अगर रोड साइड कोई समोसे बेच रहा है पोहा बेच रहा है या कुछ ऐसा आइटम बेच रहा है जो रेडी टू यूज है तो वो केस में क्या पता है वो कोशिश करता है कि धूल या मिट्टी उसके अंदर ना जाए तो वो एक साइड से पूरी लेयरिंग कर देता है प्लास्टिक. तो दैट इज डिपेंड अपॉन द व्हाट इज ही वांट टू सेल. सो योर आइडिया इज वेरी गुड सर. थैंक यू सो मच. अगर आपके पास कुछ और भी किसी के पास सजेशन हो जो उसमें हम इम्प्रूव कर सकें तो सकता है.
सर मैं एक चीज पूछना है.
बिल्कुल सर.
जैसे मान लीजिए बरसातों में आपका तो सनलाइट मिलेगी नहीं.
सर किसमें
बरसातों में तो सोलर
हाँ नहीं बिल्कुल.
तो फिर उस टाइम पे कैसे काम करेगी.
सर ये जैसे मैंने प्रेजेंटेशन में भी मेंशन किया था दिस इज ऑपरेटेड बाय 12 वोल्ट डीसी बैटरी. सो 12 वोल्ट डीसी बैटरी जो होती है बेसिकली जो हमारी यूपीएस की जो बैटरी है दैट इज अ 12 वोल्ट बैटरी. तो हम या तो डायरेक्टली सोलर ऑपरेट कर सकते हैं या बैटरी को चार्ज कर सकते हैं या अगर हमारी बैटरी डायरेक्ट चार्ज है तो यू कैन यूज डायरेक्टली. तो सोलर जो बरसात के दिनों में इस समय सोलर की एफिशिएंसी डेफिनेटली कम होगी तो हम डायरेक्टली बैटरी ऑपरेटेड इसको यूज कर सकते हैं.
तो इसमें ये सिस्टम भी हो सकती है क्या. डायनामो जैसे मैं देख रहा हूँ गाँव में साइकिल में डायनामो लगी रहती थी उसमें उसको हेडलाइट जलती थी तो ये भी ऐसा कुछ सिस्टम हो सकती है क्या जब चलती थी डायनो से चार्ज हो जाए?
डायनेमो सर लगा सकते हैं, जैसे व्हील के पास हमारे पास काफी अभी स्पेशियस है, अभी काफी हमारे पास जो व्हील के पास स्पेस है उसमें डायनेमो यूज कर सकते हैं, बट डायनेमो लगाने के बाद उसका भी एक रेजिस्टेंस होता है, उसको चलाने के लिए ड्राइव करने के लिए थोड़ा सा पावर देना पड़ेगा। अभी जो ये पार्ट है जो मैनुअली ड्राइव करेगा, जैसे कि लोग करते हैं, डायनेमो यूज कर सकते हैं, बट उसके लिए फिर हमने अभी इतना सोचा नहीं था, क्योंकि हमने अभी ये डायरेक्टली प्लान किया है कि हमारे पास जो बेस्ट मॉडल है हम उसी में जाएं। Then dynamo is the second step. We can definitely use it, so no issue. But थोड़ा सा restriction भी आ सकता है कि हमें ट्राई करना पड़ेगा कि dynamo लगाने के बाद हमारा जो वेंडर उसे पुल कर रहा है या पुश कर रहा है, उसके ऊपर कितना फोर्स आ रहा है, that is also a possibility.
नहीं, बरसात में इसका जरूरत पड़ सकती है, मैं कह रहा हूँ सोलर का लाइट कम जो तो बरसात में जल सकती है। वो
Yes,
थोड़ी
उसके लिए वो ऑटोमेटिकली चार्ज भी होता रहेगा और 12 वोल्ट जो हमारे पास बैटरी है उसके थ्रू पावर से ऑफ होता है।
ठीक है, थैंक यू सर।
Any other suggestion or query from anyone?
ओवरऑल वेट कितना हो जाता होगा इसका टोटल सिस्टम का?
सर जो इसमें मेजर वेट रहता है वो डेजर्ट सिस्टम में अगर बात करें तो मेजर वेट रहता है कि जिस जिस पोर्शन में वाटर कंसीडर हो, अगर इसमें जो हमने यहाँ पे जो सिस्टम डिजाइन किया था दैट इज डिजाइन फॉर ओनली 15 लीटर ऑफ वाटर, इट मींस वेट ऑफ 10 केजी। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट जितना भी हमारा ये डेजर्ट सिस्टम यूज हो रहा है उसका वेट हमारा 5 से 6 किलो से ज्यादा नहीं था, बिकॉज ये अभी सॉलिड मॉडल में तो हमने इसे शीट पे बनाया है, बट इन एक्चुअल प्रैक्टिस वी आर यूजिंग द पीवीसी पाइप दैट इज कनेक्टेड बाय द टाइल्स। सो वो अटैचमेंट डिटैचमेंट उसमें बहुत यूज होता है, और हमने जितने भी पैड्स यूज किए थे वो भी हमने पाइप पे ही पाइप फिट किए थे, ताकि अगर किसी को डिटैच करना है तो विदिन 15 मिनट्स एवरीथिंग शुड बी डिटैचेबल।
पावर कंजम्पशन कितना होगा सर इसका?
Sir, we are using two fan only. One is lower portion. This is especially providing the dot on the lower portion, and second thing we are not showing here, but we are using over canopy. So one fan is specially operated with 30 to 50 watts. Okay. तो टोटल हमने यहाँ पे सोलर की प्लेट दी थी, बिकॉज वी हैव अ वाइडर एरिया, हम यहाँ पे एक पैनल भी लगा सकते हैं, दो पैनल भी लगा सकते हैं। तो पर अगर यूनिट कॉस्ट अगर हम सोलर की निकालें तो राइट नाउ इज कॉस्ट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 38 रुपीस पर वॉट। तो वी आर यूजिंग इट तो 100 watt per solar plate, so approximately 380 watts उसका आ जाएगा 3080 rupees। so 100 watt में आसानी से ऑपरेट कर।
और इसका कॉस्टिंग कितना है? व्हाट इज द कॉस्ट?
Sir, approximately right now we are approximately 15 to 20,000 rupees। अभी इसका एस्टिमेशन थोड़ा सा किया था तो वही 15 से 16,000 रुपए तक जा रहा था, क्योंकि मेजर जो कॉस्ट आ रही थी वो दो चीजों की आ रही थी, पहला था सोलर और दूसरा था अगर उनकी बैटरी नहीं यूज कर रही देन सोलर हमारा प्राइम था और उसकी कॉस्ट 40 रुपीज या 38 रुपीज पर वाट के हिसाब से चार्ज होती है।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
Anything else?
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we should move forward. And now I request Dr. Keshav Kant, sir, retired professor from Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Kanpur, to give us a lecture on preservation of food by drying conventional methods. Dr. Keshav Kant, sir.
It has been
Hello,
Mr. Das, General Dr. Mukesh Singh, Vice President, Engineer M.K. Srivastava, Professor Pradeep Kumar, and Professor Ajit Chitla, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I'd like to express my appreciation and thanks for having invited me to this All India Radio Association to meet. I will be speaking on conventional drying methods of food preservation. Actually, food can be preserved by two methods, either by cooling or by heating. Cooling methods have been by cold storage using cold storages generally for a longer duration and for relatively shorter duration. Evaporative cooling methods have been used all over the world. And one particular method for preserving a shorter duration was I
अभी इसमें जाओ तो मंदिर वाले तो मंदिर वाले हो रहा है ना उसमें मंदिर में करवाएंगे तो इसमें उड़ीसा देवती इसमें कर तो यूट्यूब से मंदिर वाले डलेगा
मंदिर वाले तो कह रहा हूँ
मंदिर वाले को भी देख रहा हूँ इसी को खाने तो
इसको
यही वाली
अरे ये जो है वो डांस होता है ना उड़ीसा डे करके भाई सतीश मोहन आए थे तुमको याद तो रहेगा ना
that I will be talking about will be
इनको दे दो
drying methods of food preservation.
जो है तो पूरा है
If you look at the drying process, it is needed to preserve perishable
और एक बार तो मंदिर चले जाओ पंडित जी पास
against accumulation or spoilage
ईयर वाइज
or reducing moisture content, reducing the cost and difficulty of packaging, handling, transportation, and storage by converting the material into dry solid. It is one of the oldest methods of preserving food. There is a need for enhanced dry product quality, higher thermal efficiency, improved safety, and reduced environmental degradation.
लेक्चर चल रहा है कि ये भी लेक्चर है ये भी
There are many technologies that are already commercialized or show potential of imminent industrial exploitation.
ये वो
Drying is a very energy intensive operation.
स्क्रीन दिखा रहा
Fossil fuels have been used traditionally on a commercial scale.
कैमरा
They
बंद
use
करेगा
results in the emission of greenhouse gases, mostly carbon dioxide, which is the main cause of global warming and climate change. Therefore, any method used for drying should ensure the avoidance of emission of greenhouse gases or make these operations carbon neutral. This means any carbon emissions created are balanced by taking the same amount of carbon out of the atmosphere. Environmental Performance Index is widely used for ranking countries
को मेल चला गया
with
प्रशांत वाले को
sustainability. EPI
प्रशांत को मेल चला गया
several
एक और है वो फोन में था
including air and water quality, biodiversity,
उनका
habitat protection,
उनका पेमेंट आज का
climate change mitigation,
उनके
and
आधार कार्ड
adaptation,
चाहिए
and
उनके डॉक्यूमेंट का
sustainability of countries' energy and transportation systems. Then most sustainable countries in the world are Denmark, United Kingdom, Finland, Malta, Sweden, Luxembourg, Slovenia, Austria, Switzerland, and Iceland.
अब हमें बता देना तो
Drying food of
कितने सब पेमेंट आ गए जिनको एक्टिव एक्टिव करना हो वो बता देना
production of
पेमेंट ना हो
India
तो उसको इलेक्टिव कर देना
330.5 million tons.
मतलब
This
बैंक
is
से
according to
स्टेटमेंट
the
ले लो
government of India report of May 25, 2023. Total food
जो
waste
वेबसाइट पे
globally
छुपा है वो मुझे
for the
बता दो
animal
तो
farm
वैसे भेजेंगे
amounts to 931 million tons. This is 200 2019 figure of United Nations environmental program. Household population in India is estimated to be around 55 kg per person per year. In USA, 40% of the food produced never gets shipped. It will possibly total grocery stores, oil, and vegetables, poultry, and throwaway waste. That is the kind of situation in USA. Resources like water, dairy, seeds, paper, and fertilizer that went into growing it, along with the animals needlessly slaughtered, are like
कोई गारंटी नहीं है अभी अभी डाल दें
amount of water required to grow most excellent is about 250 kilometers cube. The value of this waste
जब कोई इशू है तो मुझे बता देना आपकी पेमेंट आ चुकी है
$1 with increasing global population, it is essential to conserve whatever is produced in the field and reduce the post-harvest losses for proper food security. Drying process. Drying is an essential process in the conservation of agricultural crops. The energy can be supplied from various sources, including renewable sources. Drying process range from natural sun drying to large-scale industrial drying based on the temperature required.
दूसरा देखो दोनों प्रोग्राम इधर देखो
For temperature, the first will be classified as follows. Low temperature drying is slow drying process. Temperatures involved are 15 degrees Celsius. High temperature drying, temperature above 50 degrees centigrade is used. Freeze drying in the agricultural product is first frozen, then placed inside a vacuum chamber connected to a condenser at a low temperature for a desiccant. Heat is supplied to the products, allowing the water to sublimate. Condenses in the condenser or is absorbed by the desiccant. Osmotic drying, the process is normally used for drying fruit juices to make a concentrated powder, involving an osmotic process followed by vaporization under pressure. Desiccant drying is used to remove moisture from the air to increase its drying potential. Increase its drying potential. The desiccant is then regenerated generally by using solar therapy. Intermittent drying process employs time-varying heating for drying of these sensitive materials. Various methods of drying. Conventional drying technologies used mostly are hot air-based systems using natural gas, propane, or electricity. They result in higher greenhouse gas emissions, accounting to approximately 15% of the overall manufacturing expenses. Conventional thermal drying processes used in the food industry
सर
are
मैं
three
आपको कॉल कर
different
लूंगा
methods.
थोड़ी देर बाद ठीक है मैं करवा
Number one, we're talking about is reflectance window light. This is a thin film light system. It involves drying pulleys and liquids placed over a thin infrared transparent film that essentially forms the window through when happens. Second one is superheated steam drying. With the superheated steam, to remove excess water from the material. It can be used to bake potato chips, cook, eat, or serve dinners or dry food. Third one is aerobic heat processing. Alternating current is passed through the food, which acts on the electrical resistance, and the electrical energy is dissipated into heat. It gives rapid and uniform heating throughout the product to dry it. Applications include etching, thawing, online detection of the starch, electronization, fermentation, heating, evaporation, dehydration, fermentation, and extraction. Next method is infrared drying. Energy from infrared radiation is directly used to heat the bulk material. Drying rate of food materials using infrared radiation 0.75 microns to 1000 microns is higher compared to conventional hot air drying. Freeze drying, water in the form of ice under low pressure is removed from material by sublimation. Dielectric drying, relying on the principle that energy is absorbed by wet material when it is placed in high frequency electric field, radio frequency or microwave. It is a process in which radio frequency alternating current field or radio wave or microwave electromagnetic radiation reach the dielectric material. Educated thin film drying. This method was proposed for efficient and wide drying of viscous liquid foods, waste, or green foods. Next method is fluoride bed drying. It is extensively used to reduce the moisture content of food, pharmaceutical, chemical powder, and granules with a high degree of efficiency. Microwave drying is based on unique volumetric heating mode facilitated by infrared radiation in the frequency bands 915 MHz to 2450 MHz. Rotary dryers are highly efficient industrial drying options for bulk solids. They work by tumbling the material in a rotating drum in the presence of dry air. Vacuum drying can also be used for transporting fresh fruit or vegetables. Vacuum drying removes moisture from a solid sample or air due to evaporation at low pressure. Heat pump dryer. Heat pump drying consists of a conventional dry chamber with an air circulation system and the heat components and the usual components of an air conditioning system, air conditioning refrigeration system. The drying air is dehumidified by the cooling section of the refrigeration cycle and reheated by the condenser of the heat pump. Impingement drying is an old technology that has been applied to food products, tortilla and potato chips, such as pretzels, crackers, have been successfully cooked and baked in an air impingement ovens in the food industry. Granular products, coffee beans, cocoa beans, rice, nuts, dry faster and more uniformly when using impingement dryers due to the pseudo-fluoride bed created by the high velocity air in nozzles. Potato chips dry faster at high superheated steam temperature and high convective transfer coefficient. Generally, superheated steam drying is used for potato chips. Typically, temperature and jet velocity in impingement drying may range from 100 degrees Celsius to 350 degrees Celsius at 10 to 100 meters per second, respectively. Hybrid dryer first condenses the air before absorbing the moisture in the air. It is a flexible combination of the systems of an absorption dryer and condensation dryer. Electrohydrodynamic drying force is a promising emerging non-thermal drying technique that can be suitable for high-value food and those with high labile substances that if they are sensitive to high temperature, they can lose their biological or chemical activity when exposed to it, as for example, medicine or pharmaceuticals. Food preservation by fermentation. Fermentation along with salting, cooking, smoking, and and sun drying is one of the earliest ancient traditions used around the world. It is a process where microorganisms like yeast and bacteria convert starch and sugar, etc., into alcohol or acids. The alcohol or acids act as natural preservatives. Common fermented foods are wine, beer, cider, sake, bread, yogurt, cheese, buttermilk, caffeine, which is a fermented milk, vinegar, tempeh, deep fried fermented soya beans, soya sauce, pickled cucumbers, sauerkraut, fermented cabbage, pickled olives, and fermented sausages. Next one is red wine. Is used to remove water from free-flowing liquid mixture, thus transforming it into a powder form. The standard technology in the food industry, especially the dairy industry, is used for making powdered milk. Irradiation of liquid sample with ultrasonic more than 20 kHz waves resulting in irradiation or ultrasonication can also be used instead of complex atomization to produce small diameter droplets in its presence. Sound waves propagate into the liquid media, resulting in alternating compression and radiation cycles. UV ultraviolet C irradiation methods. Some methods like ultraviolet C irradiation is being used for food preservation and enhancements. Low pressure mercury vapor lamps with a maximum output of 25-37 angstrom wavelengths are being used commercially in food processing industry. This is being done for tenderizing or aging of meat, curing and wrapping of cheeses, prevention of surface mold growth on basic products, air purification in bottling and food processing establishments and over pickles. Osmotic hydrogen dehydration of food. It is a partial removal of water by immersing the food in solution of salt or sugar with high osmotic pressure. Water is removed from the food to the solution by virtue of difference in osmotic pressure. It is recognized as a good pre-treatment method before actual drying. Hybrid methods of drying. Most industrial heating systems rely wholly or partially on fossil fuels for the production of thermal energy. Massive energy consumption using fossil fuels is causing severe environmental problems. Therefore, it is essential to reduce energy consumption and use renewable energy for drying applications. Microwave assisted, infrared assisted, and ultrasound assisted methods can reduce non-renewable energy consumption by up to 80%. Finally, to conclude, the drying is a major energy intensive operation. Environmental considerations prompt industries to use renewable energies. The industrial sector is responsible for 35% of the global energy, while 74% of the industrial energy consumption corresponds to process heat demand. Use of hybrid methods of drying can reduce non-renewable energy consumption up to 80%. Artificial neural networks are extensively being used for modeling drying phenomena. Machine learning models can simulate complex processes of food drying. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. If anyone wants to ask anything from the sir, then feel free to ask.
would finally like to make a comment that the number of methods which are used for drawing purposes upon 18 or 20 methods I described just now. Each one of them, or most of them, are hot air-based convection systems. There are only 3 or 4 which are not using thermal energy directly. These 16, 17 methods which are hot air-based systems, hot air-based convection systems, using heat energy from the fossil fuels, either propane, natural gas, or oil. And that is resulting in emission of large amount of greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases from this industry itself is so much that the that we can that we have to find methods to reduce this carbon dioxide emission, absorb this carbon dioxide, or sequester this carbon dioxide either into the soil or deep in the or deep into the ocean, or by planting a lot of trees, by increasing the greenery. Whatever carbon dioxide we produce, we absorb that by taking out from the atmosphere. So that part is very important, and I'm planning to give a next lecture on the sustainable methods, which will talk about the use of solar energy, wind energy, biofuels, and so on.
नेक्स्ट आइटम स्टार्ट करो मेरे का नेक्स्ट आइटम स्टार्ट करो
It seems that no one has any query regarding the lecture. So now we will move ahead, and I am sharing a certificate of appreciation to each of the our lecturers, and I request to our chief guest, please appreciate them for their lectures. Let me just share my certificate of appreciation. Just a minute, please.
But it would have been posted to the chief guest also, so he can go through it. Please proceed, sir.
Should I read?
Yes, sir.
Sure, sir, sure. You can go ahead. If my screen allows, then I will share it.
In this schedule of certificate of appreciation, this is to certify that Sri Ajit K. N. Shukla has successfully contributed through his presentation on refrigeration system with saving power in the technical webinar held on 3rd May 2025. On behalf of Organizing Committee, Council, Chief Guest, myself, Deputy Commissioner Industry, Government of UP thankfully acknowledges the valuable support and wishes for success in future. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ajit Ken Shuklagi. The second certificate of operation is for Mr. Shri Keshav. This is to certify that Shri Keshav Kant has successfully contributed through his presentation on the preservation of food by drying, the last lecture, conventional and sustainable methods, in the technical webinar held on 3rd May 2025. On behalf of Organizing Committee Council, the chief guest, myself, Deputy Commissioner Industry, Government of UP, thankfully acknowledges the valuable support and wishes all success in the work. Thank you, sir, for your insight on this food preservation by drying.
Ready?
And the last one, certificate of appreciation for Mr. Shri Himanshu Gupta. This is to certify that Shri Himanshu Gupta has successfully contributed through his presentation on design of a vegetable cart in the technical webinar held on 3rd May 2025. On behalf of Organizing Committee, Council, Chief Guest Shri myself, Deputy Commissioner Industry, Government of UP thankfully acknowledges the valuable support and wishes all success in life. My wishes to Shri Himanshu Gupta. It was really insightful and really quite knowledgeable point which you presented. Thank you, sir. On behalf of all the committee, I thank all the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you to our host.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, if anyone have any inquiry, then there is an open discussion time, and if anyone doesn't have any query, then we will move ahead for the vote of thanks.
I would like to ask a question to our chief guest, sir.
Please.
Sir, actually, the model I have presented, anything is we can proceed for the generalization of model to the society.
Why don't you repeat your question, please, Himanshu?
Sir, क्या ये basically model मैंने present किया है, that is a low cost model and is affordable for all the vendors especially. So क्या ऐसा कुछ ऐसा स्कीम मतलब सर आप के पास से है जिससे कि हम इस मॉडल को सोसाइटी के लिए incorporate करें?
Yeah, surely. Your model is in our service sector. In service sector, any kind of service which is like any kind of service, internet cafe or restaurant, we provide finances for this kind of. So your model, it's very beneficial. It's for it's related directly to cable industry. So here, this model can be covered under our scheme. We have schemes from 1 lakh to 25 lakhs. So under this scheme, this card can be financed. Only thing is that when we do the financing through banks, banks ask for the quotation of the manufacturer. जो आप बना रहे हो ना कार्ड, अगर ये प्रॉपर एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इसकी यूनिट सेट हो जाए और वो कोटेशंस दे दें, बैंक्स इसको फाइनेंस कर लेगी इजीली, आई एम श्योर.
So we have to do with some startup to that.
Yes, you have a kind of prototype. Now you need kind of a proper manufacturing unit which can produce this kind of card, and you have durable purchasers also. आपके clients होने चाहिए ना, जो clients होंगे वही अप्लाई करेंगे बैंक्स में हमारे थ्रू, हम उनको फाइनेंस कराएंगे इसको.
Thanks, sir.
हिमांशु जी,
Yes, sir.
बैंक के लिए कोई तकलीफ हो, हमारा एसोसिएशन ऑल इंडिया वैल्यूज एसोसिएशन है, हम लोग सभी बैंक से परिचय है, तो अगर बैंक से कोई मदद मिले चाहिए आपको तो हम लोग याद करिएगा.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. I will discuss with team and then let you know.
Okay, sir. So now we should move ahead.
अच्छा
And
श्रीश, वोट ऑफ थैंक्स आनंद को देने से पहले मैं तो स्पेशल वोट ऑफ थैंक्स
yes,
हम
yes,
चीफ गेस्ट से करना चाहेंगे। हमारा परसों ही मुलाकात हुई थी उनसे, है ना, बहुत कम समय पे उन्होंने हमको अटेंड किया, तो ये सबसे बड़ी बात है। मतलब एक इतना सीनियर ऑफिसर होके 2 दिन, मेरे ख्याल में परसों ही सब मिले थे हम लोगों को, तो 2 दिन में उन्होंने टाइम दिया, इसलिए उनको स्पेशल थैंक्स है। जो आनंद थैंक है तो बात और है, क्योंकि मैंने उनको मिलके रिक्वेस्ट किया था, कम समय में उन्होंने हमारी बात को राजी हुए, इसलिए हम आंसू की तरफ से उनको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देते हैं। अभी आनंद सिंह।
हेलो, मेरी आवाज सभी तक जा रही है?
आ रही
yes, sir, yes, sir.
हम लोगों का जो ऑल इंडिया वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन है, वो मंथ के फर्स्ट सैटरडे को एक सेमिनार, टेक्निकल सेमिनार वैल्यूएशन से रिलेटेड टॉपिक्स पे हमेशा करता आया है। अभी क्या है कि आज थोड़ा सा टॉपिक से थोड़ा कम रिलेटेड था, लेकिन हमारा जो वेबिनार थीम था फूड प्रिजर्वेशन विद सेविंग एनर्जी एंड कॉस्ट ऑफ कंजप्शन, इस पे हम लोगों ने एक सेमिनार किया, और इसमें हमारे पास जो 3 मेन लेक्चर हुए जो उसमें, तो उसमें डॉक्टर अजीत के शुक्ला जी का था, और इसके बाद जो था ये डॉक्टर हिमांशु गुप्ता का था, और उसके बाद डॉक्टर केशव का। तो इन सभी लोगों को हम धन्यवाद देते हैं कि इन्होंने अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन बनाया और इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे शेयर किया, और हमारे जो मेंबर्स थे उनको बहुत अच्छी एक अलग फील्ड की नॉलेज भी थी। इसके साथ ही जो हमारे चीफ गेस्ट हैं श्री ए.पी. सिंह जी, उनका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं। साथ में जो हमारे अपने प्रेसिडेंट हैं इंजीनियर एस.एस. दास, और इसके अलावा वाइस प्रेसिडेंट है, वाइस चेयरमैन जो है इसके, सॉरी, जो चेयरमैन है आईईआई के मुकेश कुमार सिंह जी, और डॉक्टर प्रदीप कुमार जो एचबीडीआई से थे, इन सभी का हम लोग धन्यवाद करते हैं। इन्होंने अपना अमूल्य समय निकाला और हम लोगों के इस सेमिनार में शामिल हुए। इसके अलावा जो पार्टिसिपेंट थे, जो सभी हमारे ऑल इंडिया वेलवर्स के मेंबर्स थे, उन्होंने भी अपना समय निकाल करके इस सेमिनार को अटेंड किया, और हम आशा करते हैं कि उन्हें अच्छे से इंफॉर्मेशन मिली होगी रेफ्रिजरेशन से रिलेटेड, और जो कि हमारा टॉपिक था। तो मैं सभी का धन्यवाद करता हूँ और इस कार्यक्रम को यहीं पे समाप्त।
Sir, there is an announcement at the end of this webinar. Since we have lost some lives in Pehlgam terror attack on 22nd or 23rd of April, so now we will have a 2-minute silence for the life of the Pehlgam terror attack victims and those who have died on that day. So there will be a silence for 2 minutes, and we will end this webinar afterwards. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar, and a special thanks to our chief guest who have attained who have joined this webinar and throughout he has attained it, and from start to end he was actively participant in this webinar. So thanks to Chief Guest sir. Now we are closing this monthly webinar. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
ऑल इंडिया वेलवर्स एसोसिएशन के पदाधिकारियों ने जम्मू कश्मीर के पहलगाम के आतंकी हमले में मारे गए यात्रियों की आत्मा की शांति के लिए कैंडल जलाकर शोक व्यक्त किया। एसोसिएशन के अध्यक्ष ने कहा कि पहलगाम में हुए आतंकी हमले से भारत का हर एक नागरिक नाराज है। साथ ही सरकार से अपील करते हुए कहा कि आतंकवाद के खिलाफ कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई की जाए और आतंकवाद के स्रोत तक जाकर इसका जड़ से सफाई करें। इस दुख की घड़ी में हम सब भारतवासी पीड़ित परिवारों के साथ हैं। साथ ही उन्होंने कहा कि हम सभी राजनीतिक दलों तथा देशवासियों से अपील करते हैं कि ऐसे समय में कोई ऐसा बयान न दें और साथ ही किसी भी सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म पर ऐसे पोस्ट ना करें जिससे कि हमारे देश के सैनिकों का मनोबल गिरे।